Hi, thank you so much for stopping by P2P Relates, where we talk about all things relationships. Hi, I'm Pat Renfro, and today we're going to talk about marriage. Marriage 101. It's not a fairy tale. I say that because, for one, a dear friend's husband said to me one time, marriage is not a fairy tale. And I never forgot that because it is so true. But when you're single and you've never been married before, you can't help sometimes but to think that may be the case. If I could just find my princess, if I could just find my Prince Charming, my life would be complete. To some degree, that's true about anything you're trying to accomplish. Oh, when I finish my degree, wow, I'll finally be able to get my career that I've always wanted and it'll just be great. Or, wow, I'm married and I'm happy in my career, and if I could just become a parent, that would complete my goals in life, or something to that effect. We all have those things. Nothing's wrong with that. But what I want to talk about when it relates to marriage are three things today. Marriage is a commitment, and let's talk about what that really looks like and what that means. Listen, if you're single and you're thinking that one day you'll be interested in getting married, this will be a great video to listen to. If you're married already, you and your spouse can sit there and analyze it and see how much of this you agree with and how much of this you've done. Marriage is a commitment. You know, forever is a long time. When you say I do, from my definition, you are coming together as two people saying, we want to make a lifetime commitment to each other, to be there for each other, to make each other happy, to just spend the rest of our lives while we're here on this earth together. And in many cases where that is the desire, I understand there are many different categories we're going to talk about today, where you're sincerely desiring to be with that person forever. And when you made that huge commitment, and in the cases where you had a wedding, you went and spent all that money on that beautiful dress and those rings and all that goes with it, you really did it because you believed this was it. I have found Miss Right. I have found Mr. Right. But what I want to tell you today is that marriage has to be a commitment that you make that supersedes your infatuation. Every relationship goes through an infatuation stage where there is nothing you could possibly do wrong in the eye of the beholder. You are happy, your heart pitter-patters when you see one another. You just adore them. You don't even argue because we're just on one accord. I mean, those days happen, and to a degree, they kind of help gel the relationship. They kind of help two people decide that of all the people they could meet, yes, this is one person that I believe is the right person. One, I said commitment because I remember one time before I got married, I said to my best friend at the time, if I see da-da-da-da-da, I'm out of there. And she said back to me, Pat, if that's what you're thinking now and that's how you feel, you don't need to get married. And it was quite an eye-opening statement. I didn't take her advice. I went on and got married anyway, and I have stayed married, been married 15 years. But as you go through your journey with your mate, once you make that decision to do that, you will go through all types of things. You start this journey with a heartfelt compassion toward your mate. In your heart, you believe that there's absolutely nothing they could do to change your mind about loving them. And while that's wonderful, has it been tested? Have you really paid attention? Have you really considered some things that were adverse during the dating period that you're ignoring, or you've chosen to look the other way because you love them so much? But what is the love? Is it emotional love? Because the reality is, if you're in your feelings, you can't commit. Because it's only a matter of time before that person's going to get on your nerves. When you say I do, what you're saying in commitment is I pledge to honor you, to love you, to support you, to cry when you cry, to laugh when you laugh, to rejoice for your victories, to respect you, to serve you. And at that moment, you are so in love, you see those things as just how you breathe, just real simple. Until something happens down the road in the marriage that breaks your heart. I remember another very wise married couple came up to me at my wedding. I believe it was right after we said our vows and we were having the reception part. And she said, he will break your heart many times, but just decide you're going to forgive him. And I respected that person tremendously, and I knew they had wisdom. I didn't want to believe that, but I knew in my gut she was right. But did that mean I knew how to do that? Absolutely not. So the reason I'm talking about commitment is not to just badger you with it and go on and on and on, but I just want to really nail it in. We learn more about how to drive a car than we do about how to be married. And yet, for those of us who make the decision to get married, is one of the most important decisions we will ever make. So if you're making a decision of that magnitude, there are things you need to do intelligently. You just like buying a car. When you buy that car, you normally do research. You're looking to see just what the Consumer Report says about it, what the repair history is on it, what the resale value is on it, the trade-in value is on it, as well as just mechanically how dependable is it. But we don't get much training on how to do that as it relates to our mates. We just hope that they'll be transparent with us and that we'll see what we need to see during the dating stage. And based on how we make each other feel, we're ready to. But in closing on this one subject of commitment, I will remind you and tell you again that infatuation is one of the almost necessary stages of your love relationship. You all need to really be into each other. And yet, you need to understand that it is a stage and it will fade. And it's not really a bad thing because it's really child love, child's play. It's like the googly goggly, ooh, he's so wonderful. I remember many years ago, I was dating a fellow and my dad asked me, so what's wrong with him? And he was out in the yard, working on the yard, and I was in college. And I said, absolutely nothing. He has no fault. And my dad looked at me and said, oh boy. So understand that that phase will go away. And when it does, you have to have a love that's so much more mature than that. Because again, if you're in your feelings, you cannot really commit. Well, that concludes our talk on commitment. And so as I do every week, I wanted to give you a takeaway. I'm going to split it up this time though. If you are married, you all might choose to have a conversation with each other about how well you think you're doing with the commitment piece. How much did you think about prior to making that commitment? And you can even joke around and say, do you think you would have done it had you understood what you were really signing up for? For you people who have never been married, but you're thinking about, you might do that one day, just think about how far you are on the continuum of saying, okay, I'm ready for this, or, whoo, I'm good right where I am. Forever is way too long. And obviously when we say forever, we're not talking about eternity. We're talking about as long as you're alive and breathing, could you stay with this one person, and would you be committed to making a decision to unconditionally love them? And then finally, for those of you who are divorced, I hope that you feel no condemnation whatsoever, but you are able to stop and say, I am going to and think about this and see How close was I to actually doing the commitment in the way that it should have been done for success? And how much did I walk in unconditional love, or could do better next time? So again, it's all about self-development. It's all about growth. It's all about love, walking in love. And that's more agape love than it is phileo love. So I didn't talk about that, but for most of us, we've heard of that, or you can look it up. We got Google. But just want to encourage you to always think about how you can grow from what you learn. All right, thanks so much for hanging in there. Hit the subscribe button so that you can know when I get things loaded up, and also tap the bell, and that way it'll be like a text message in your YouTube account so that you'll know when I have uploaded a new video, which I do every Friday. And also give me a like. Help us out. All right. Thank you so much for your support. Have a wonderful next 7 days, and I'll see you back here next Friday, hopefully. And we should be having an interview with a couple that's been married 35 years. So again, if you're thinking about marriage, or you're already in a marriage and just want to get better, come on back and check us out. All right. Take care. Bye.